The cold wind blew through the streets of Pacific Heights, shaking the last leaves from the trees. Autumn was ending, and winter was on its way. Inside my warm living room, I held my favorite mug, filled with Blue Bottle coffee, and looked out the window. The leaves fell in all directions, just like how my life had started to feel, scattered, uncertain. On the fireplace mantel sat a photo of my parents. They had passed away 5 years ago. That picture was taken on our last family trip to Napa Valley. My father used to smile at me and say, "Katherine, you're a good girl." I could still hear his voice in my mind. On the coffee table, my wedding album was open. It showed me in a white Vera Wang dress, standing beside David, smiling brightly. We had our wedding at Grace Cathedral. My father proudly walked me down the aisle. I truly believed it was the happiest day of my life. My sister Britney, my maid of honor, stood next to me in a beautiful Dior dress. She looked so happy. At the time, I thought we all were. My name is Katherine Parker. I've worked as a director at a large marketing company for the past 10 years. My office is on the 35th floor of a tall building on Market Street. I have a great view of San Francisco, and it always gives me fresh ideas. I've led big projects, worked with major tech companies, and built a career I'm proud of. When my parents died in a car accident, it left just me and my sister. Since we were kids, I'd always taken care of Britney. I picked her up from school, helped with her homework, and comforted her when she was sad. I worked hard, graduated from Stanford, and started building my career right away. Britney, on the other hand, dropped out of college and threw herself into the world of social media. Now, she's a well-known influencer with over 500,000 followers. Her Instagram is filled with pictures from luxury resorts, expensive restaurants, and designer outfits. I met David 7 years ago at one of our company parties. He was a guest from the investment team, and I remember him walking toward me, holding a glass of bourbon. I was wearing a deep green Tom Ford dress. He smiled and said, "Isn't this party a bit boring?" That simple line made me laugh, and we ended up talking the whole night. From there, things moved quickly. We went to fancy dinners at top-rated restaurants, spent weekends in Napa Valley, and vacationed at 5-star resorts. David was a successful trader making $500,000 a year. He wore expensive suits and always looked polished. He proposed in a Ritz Paris suite with champagne, caviar, and a Cartier ring. Our married life seemed perfect. On weekends, we had breakfast together at Tartine Bakery. Then we shopped at Whole Foods for ingredients and cooked together at home. I made beef bourguignon, his favorite. For vacations, we flew to Europe, stayed in luxury hotels, and explored beautiful neighborhoods in Paris and Rome. I loved spending time with my sister too. Shopping together at Union Square was our tradition. We'd eat lunch at Neiman Marcus, browse boutiques, and always stop for coffee at Blue Bottle afterward. She often pointed at designer bags and said, "Isn't this Chanel one amazing?" I never hesitated to spoil her. When she said, "Thank you, I love you, big sis," my heart felt full. David gave me a crimson Tesla Model S for my birthday. He said it was a car that matched a successful woman like me. Meanwhile, Britney drove a flashy white Porsche Cayenne. She once told me, "I need to stand out. Unlike you, I'm all about image." Our lives were so different. While I dressed in simple pantsuits and wore pearl earrings, Britney wore bold dresses and posted daily photos in the newest Valentino or Gucci. I respected her success, even felt proud. But I never saw what was hiding behind her perfect smile. It began with small changes. David, who always came home by 7 p.m., started arriving later. He blamed client dinners or last-minute deals. Sometimes, he didn't come home until almost midnight. Around the same time, I started seeing Britney's posts from luxury restaurants, places right near David's office. I tried to brush it off. It couldn't mean anything, right? Then came my birthday party in June. We held it at our house. As always, Britney showed up in a stunning red Valentino dress. She said she dressed up just for me, but during the party, I noticed how often she looked at David, and he kept glancing at her too. When he poured her more champagne, his hand touched hers for just a little too long. Still, I told myself it was all in my head. Britney was my sister, David was my husband. I refused to believe anything was wrong. But one afternoon, everything changed. I was walking to Blue Bottle Coffee near the Ferry Building. That's when I saw them, David and Britney, sitting together at a terrace table. They were laughing, close, too close. Her fingers played with the sleeve of his suit. She wore a Cartier bracelet, the one David said was a business gift from his trip to Paris. Then, I watched as he held her hand and gave her the same warm smile he once gave me at our wedding. I couldn't move, my heart sank, my heels wobbled, my chest tightened, I just stood there, staring at the truth I didn't want to see. The next day, I went to Britney's penthouse. She opened the door, her voice soft. "I'm sorry, sis," but there wasn't much guilt in her eyes. Instead, there was certainty. "But he's perfect for me," she said simply. "He wasn't right for you." I sat quietly as she explained. She had always been jealous of my grades, my job, my marriage. Even her influencer success came from a desire to outshine me. "I wanted to prove I have something you don't." I stood up, pulled out a photo from my wallet, the wedding photo of me and David. I placed it on her coffee table. "Be happy," I said quietly, then walked out. I hired Jennifer Brown, one of the best divorce lawyers in Silicon Valley. I brought her all the documents. She promised to protect me, and I believed her. David didn't fight. He left me the house, the Tesla, and our savings. Maybe it was guilt, or maybe he was just ready to move on. "You deserve it all," he said the last time we spoke. When the divorce was final, I went back to Grace Cathedral. I walked the same aisle I once walked in my wedding dress, but now, I was alone. The stained glass windows lit up the quiet space. I felt a strange peace. The past 5 years weren't fake. The love, the happiness, they were real, but they were over. Back at work, I buried myself in projects. I had new clients, Google, Apple, Meta. I worked late, even on holidays. That was who I was now, focused, reliable, calm. I didn't want love again, not after this. One day, our CEO, Sarah Johnson, looked at a presentation I made. "Katherine, this is excellent. I want to recommend you for the vice president role." My heart beat faster. All my work was finally being recognized. Now, work is my guiding light. My new life has begun. And I'm finally moving forward. I visited a sleek, modern building tucked away in a quiet part of Palo Alto. It was made of glass and concrete, with clean lines and calm beauty. The moment I saw it, I couldn't look away. It wasn't just a building, it felt like a piece of art. "This is the one we've been waiting for," I whispered. Just then, a calm voice spoke behind me. "It's the project I'm most proud of," the man said. I turned and saw a tall man in a sharp three-piece suit. His name was James Morrison, one of the top architects in Silicon Valley. He had studied at Harvard and now ran his own firm, known all over the world for its innovative designs. There was something dignified about him, the way he stood, spoke, and carried himself. I looked back at the building to keep myself focused. "It's a beautiful balance of design and usefulness," I said, trying to keep things professional. He gave me a kind smile. "Would you like some coffee? The cafe inside is excellent." Before I could answer, he had already pressed the elevator button. At Barge Coffee, located in the building, we sat down with warm drinks. James began talking about how art and technology could come together in architecture. He even sketched ideas in a notebook as he explained, full of energy and passion. "It's an honor to speak with someone who understands design like you do, Katherine," he said. For a moment, my heart skipped, but I quickly pushed the feeling away. From there, our meetings became more regular. After every project discussion, he would gently ask, "If you're free, would you join me for dinner?" At first, I always said no, but little by little, I started accepting, especially when he said, "It's part of the business, after all." At Saison, a fine dining restaurant with 3 Michelin stars, we shared beautifully prepared meals and rare wines. The conversation slowly shifted from business to our personal passions, literature, art, travel. "I really enjoy talking to a thoughtful woman like you," he said one night. His words touched something inside me. I didn't want to admit it, but I felt something. On weekends, he invited me to tour the buildings he designed. He called it architectural inspection, but it felt more personal. I went along, unsure why I kept saying yes. "Design should make people's lives richer," he'd say with fire in his eyes. Watching him talk, so full of vision and belief, I found myself drawn to him again and again. Still, I tried to ignore my feelings and keep my heart closed. Then, the small gestures began: emails with jazz concert tickets, books on design he thought I'd enjoy, invites to art exhibits. Week by week, the walls I had built around my heart began to soften. Christmas came. At a gala dinner under the moonlight at the Legion of Honor, James knelt down before me. From the moment I met you, I knew this was meant to be. Will you walk through life with me? In his hand was a small box, holding a vintage ring. I don't deserve this, I began, my voice trembling. He gently took my hand. You deserve love, Katherine. Every day I wonder if I'm good enough for you. In that moment, all the doors I had kept tightly shut flew open. Yes, I whispered, as tears rolled down my cheeks. Married life with James was more beautiful than I ever imagined. He had designed our home in Atherton himself, wide windows let the sunshine pour in, and a lovely garden surrounded us. On weekends, we visited the farmer's market together. He always remembered my favorite fruits and vegetables. At home, he made fluffy pancakes while I sliced fresh fruit. Even our simple mornings felt like precious memories. Work also brought us closer. Our companies, his architectural firm and my marketing agency, started doing projects together. Every success felt like something we built side by side. You're the best partner I could have asked for, he said, hugging me close. In his arms, I felt safe. Slowly, gently, James helped me trust again. He helped me believe in love. At night, we sat on the terrace with a glass of wine, dreaming together, talking about future projects, children, and what kind of life we wanted to create. Happiness, I realized, doesn't always arrive with noise or drama. Sometimes, it slips in quietly, warm, steady, and full of peace. The California sun shone softly through the window as we had breakfast together one morning. The scent of fresh croissants filled the room. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a direct message on Instagram, the first contact from my sister in 5 years. Sis, I had twins, baby boys, aren't they adorable? The picture showed her in full makeup and a designer dress, sitting in a luxury hospital suite. The babies were wrapped in soft cashmere. I smiled, but not kindly, as expected of a social media influencer, I thought. Another message came right after. Send me $10,000 for a baby gift, tomorrow, please. Also, come visit my new place, the renovation is done and it's totally Insta-worthy. My hand shook slightly. I spilled a little coffee on the marble countertop. Are you okay? James asked, watching me carefully. His gentle eyes made me sigh deeply. Yes, I said, then picked up my phone and typed. Congratulations. Of course, I'll come, with my husband. How about tomorrow afternoon? After I hit send, I paused. Why did I say yes? But strangely, I didn't regret it. Deep down, I felt that it was time to face the past.